get a better view. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. So it's a little after 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. We are going down to a specific place downtown for a specific point that I'll explain to you when we get there. So hopefully we can get there pretty quickly. I'm going to try to make this show pretty quickly. Got a lot of things to talk about today. Great show for you today. And we're going to give you the news from a sociological perspective, a journalist sociological perspective, which is better than a regular journalist because trained in sociology and in the law, I have a broader perspective of events and how they fit into the overall scheme of things, what people in power, how they're framing things, what they want you to think, and why they're telling you stuff and leaving out other stuff to present a picture of what they want you to believe that keeps them in power. That's framing. They frame stories and they lie about stuff. So we're going to talk about some blatant lies where they frame stuff falsely to present a narrative to keep them in power and keep you in subjection under them. That's absolutely not true, and also keeps you in danger from a sociological perspective. So this channel, you'll get truth that's even better than a journalist. You'll get a sociological perspective because sociologists that are journalists like me use the scientific method. We use research and knowledge and facts and tests to replicate events to make it scientifically accurate. And that's how we frame events in the total overall scheme of things, the government scheme of things. So watch this channel, like, share, comment. You'll get a broader, better, more educated perspective of what's really going on. I know what they tell you is going on. That's not what's going on. A lot of times it's a dirty lie. They point out things that are not true because they want to sell you a story that helps them and hurts you. So Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a great show for you today. We're headed to downtown Knoxville, and we're going to go to a specific place across the bridge, and we're going to tell you why we went there for a purpose. It's for the social movement organization, Power to You the People, and it's one of our objectives, and we'll tell you about that when we get there, if we ever do. So we're going to juxtaprudence things this morning, compare things side by side, and show you how people in power legitimize themselves, lie, cheat, rob, and steal, and put side by side people that aren't in power or people that they want to destroy and what they do and how it's not wrong as compared to people in power. There's always usually a backstory. So thank y'all for joining me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. An educated sociological journalist perspective on things that, has been educated, life experience. You won't get this anywhere else. People are too afraid to fight the government, and I'm a little concerned, but I've been in service for the public, risking my life all my life, and there's no need to quit now. No reason to stop. I take precautions to protect myself, and where I can, I get behind cover like I explained the other day, and if there's concealment, I'll get behind the concealment. Cover just makes you hidden, but a round will still go through it. The government bullets, the government lies will still go through it. That's concealment. Cover is, it'll stop a bullet. So hopefully we find cover. A lot of the cover that I'm seeking is public attention, which makes it harder for the government to mistreat me. A lot of people see it. I've been building that cover of mass, hopefully millions of people that see how dirty people in power are and how we need to vote them out, how dangerous and deadly they are, by getting people in power voted out of office, and by getting hundreds of thousands of people listening to my channel listening to the truth, so we can vote these people out and get a government that serves you and not them from a sociological perspective. And I've been pretty successful here in the past month. Today I got information. I got 425,000 people have listened to me in the last month. So the information is going out, and we're achieving that objective, that we're getting cover, and the cover is you. Something happens to me, you'll know. You'll know, because you're the cover that protects me. If the government does something, you can put pressure on the government and it'll be exposed. So Charles Van Morgan in the morning. You won't hear this anywhere else. Unique show exposing people in power corruption. Not government corruption, because we are the government. It's protesters. They're protesters that have falsely infiltrated our government, that have seized power over us, and they're mistreating us and using the government to serve themselves. So join me. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're almost got enough, over 1,000 subscribers, building every day. So if you can't contribute, then if you can contribute. But if you can subscribe, that helps too. We'll soon start getting paid for advertising. I don't know how much it is. I don't think it's very much, but it'll keep the truth going. It'll keep the unfiltered, unbridled truth going against people that have infiltrated our government, and we'll be able to take over them peacefully at the voting booth. So thank y'all. We got a great show for you today. I'm going to the prudence stuff, juxtaposition stuff. Juxtaposition is the word. And compare stuff side by side and show you the evil and the good. And the government calls evil good. People in government power call evil good, and they call good evil. But we'll shine the light on it and show how, no. What they're saying is good was evil, and what they're saying was evil was good, and we'll show you how they lie about it. Point it out just in plain ink up front. I mean, we'll show you. Even Google, Facebook, all these things, and they might take me off of YouTube. All these things perpetrate people in government power's lies. And the news media has been pointed out as doing that here recently by Donald J. Trump, how fake they are. And if you'll notice, all the news channels here in Knoxville and all across the world are trying to say, and they have commercials saying, we're honest news, because they've been attacked as being not honest. So they're out telling you they're honest. No, they're not. No, they're not. Some of them are a little more honest than others, and at times they're honest, but they perpetrate what the government tells them to do. They're state-run media. They're false. They print lies and broadcast pure, blatant, flat-out lies. But we can use that, because we can look at their lies and compare it to the truth, to actual events, and say y'all are lying, you're not credible sources, and they're not. But I am a credible source. I will tell you the truth. Better trained than any journalist, and also my life experience. I know how dirty the government is. I know how bad they are for you. I know how traffic fatalities have raised in the state of Tennessee because of government lies, how they promote people, not for public safety, for how well they protect people in power, which is at your demise. So we'll see how many people we got in here. Thank y'all for joining me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Hopefully you can hear me. And I haven't spent 10, 15 minutes talking like I did the other day. So let's see if y'all can hear me. Let me know. God bless y'all. And we'll continue this narrative. Compare stuff side by side. Jack's position, different cases, and talk about that, and tell you where I'm going, why I'm going there when we get there, downtown Knoxville. So let's see if you can hear me, and look at a few comments. Can stay tuned. I'm going to tell you where I'm going. Like, share, comment, contribute if you can. We sure appreciate it. We've had a few contributions, and we need more to keep this channel going, to keep the truth out there, and we are the truth. So let's see, and then we'll get back into the narrative. So yeah, we got about 30 people. So I'll leave some bananas for you. I don't need no bananas. Said hi. Let's see who said hi. Yeah, we got some fans in here. Bia North said hi. Hello. Same old BS. It's not BS. It's the truth. Yeah, so That is somebody putting social pressure. Same old BS. Gaslighting me. You're out of breath. It's because I'm slow jogging, trying to hurry. Hey, brother, Bear, Noah. Hey, that's because I'm jogging. I'm out of breath because I'm jogging to try to get down somewhere where I can show you a point and prove an issue. No truth. Yeah, there's no truth. Okay, no truth. Okay, I do have a Master of Arts in Sociology from the University of Tennessee, where I learned sociology from a scientific perspective from a major university. I read books, passed tests, studied sociology, which is the study, and my emphasis in criminology, which is the study of how outside forces, social forces, other people influence people's behavior. And there's a lot more to it than that, but basically it's about social forces are involved in a lot of people's behavior, and people aren't solely responsible. There's a lot of outside forces that put people in positions of power when they don't deserve it, and there's a lot of outside social forces that no matter what people do, they can't get anywhere because people, outside social forces, people in power, keep them down. That's sociology. I do have a degree. That's not a lie. I'll show you. I'll bring a picture of it one day. I do have actually I showed it on one of my screens yesterday. So what part of that is false? And you don't have any education, probably. And if you do, let me know what you know. But so I'm speaking the truth. Now I'm just pointing out some of the people on here that try to gaslight me. It doesn't stop me from speaking the truth. And thank you for your view. You're helping my viewership. And there's a lot of bots on here that try to dispel the truth. And they're going to get on here. And I'm not telling you not to listen to them, but think about what they're trying to do. Trying to discredit somebody that is very credible, very educated. I'm 61 years old. I know what I'm talking about. I've lived through a lot of government corruption. And you won't get this truth from anywhere else. And I'm not part of the government. I've been blackballed by the government because of their corruption. And I'm getting ready to show you plain out and plain writing with facts that I know what I'm talking about. Even AI, if you tell it the truth, it says that's your perspective. The truth is not a perspective. How you look at the truth can be a perspective, but the truth is not perspective like gravity. Gravity is the truth. There's a real gravity. Now, how you look at gravity might be different. If you use a parachute, you're looking at gravity a little different than is if you just fall out of an airplane. But the fact of gravity is a scientific fact. It's real. It's not a perspective. So the truth is subject to perspective, but the truth is the truth. And even AI calls the truth a perspective. No, it's not. If you understand what I'm getting at, the truth is the truth. And I'll show you flat out up front, close and personal, about the truth about things. Unbridled, unafraid, for your own safety, health, protection, and well-being. So we're headed downtown to a specific place. It's going to take us a while to get there, so hang on with me and I'll explain to you why I'm headed where I'm at. And the main point of this whole trip today is to perpetrate this social movement and to dispel some of the government lies and just juxtaposition the incidences that they say are evil, that are really good, and the positions of people in power that they say are good when they're really evil. For example, Mr. Costa, former Speaker of the House, is in the news because he is being prosecuted for setting up a organization that evidently stole money from taxpayers, and he's being prosecuted. He's former Speaker of the House, but he's not in power anymore, and he's being prosecuted for a crime. But you always think, and people have told me this before, I'm not the only one thinking this, because people are smart. and you probably thought this before, when you have powerful people that are getting prosecuted for crimes, why are they being prosecuted? Because me and you know, and people know, that powerful people get by with stuff. They don't get prosecuted for crimes. So you often wonder, like Glenn Costa, why is he being prosecuted? He used to be Speaker of the House of the state of Tennessee. He's one of the most powerful men in the state of Tennessee. Why is he being prosecuted for a crime? And people think that he must have made somebody mad. I've had several people tell me he must have made somebody mad, because powerful people don't get prosecuted, and they don't. And he may or may not have committed a crime. I don't know. A jury evidently convicted him, but these prosecutors are expert at what they can do. They can get innocent people prosecuted, and he's got the whole power, force of the government and prosecutors coming after him. And he may have committed a crime, but why is he being prosecuted for? They usually don't get prosecuted, powerful people. And you look at juxtaposition, you look at Cameron Sexton. Now, he is presently the Speaker of the House, right now in power. And you look at what he's doing. He's committing a crime, and he's not getting prosecuted because he's in power right now. But Glenn Costa is not in power. So maybe he's made somebody mad and they're prosecuting him. But if you're in power, you don't get prosecuted. Now, what Glenn Costa did is he set up a fake organization to get money to mail out flyers, campaign flyers for people in government office, and stole a lot of the money is what they're saying he did. And set up a fake corporation that stole people's money that wasn't in his name so he could hide it. And what Cameron Sexton is doing, so he's getting prosecuted, he's not in power. Who'd he make mad? That's what people are thinking. Well, one reason why he's getting prosecuted is he's no longer in power. Cameron Sexton is in power. Now, let me tell you what he did. Let's put these people side by side. And this is not something I make it up. People wonder this. Now, Cameron Sexton is in power. He's not going to get prosecuted. He's not getting prosecuted for anything. Unless, of course, he makes somebody that's more powerful than him mad, like the governor. But he goes right along with the governor, goes right along with the hierarchy, goes right along and makes illegitimate legitimate. He goes along with the power mongers. And he's not going to get prosecuted for anything. He can commit crimes and he's going to get by with it. Cameron Sexton. He's probably going to run for governor before too long because he upholds the illegitimacy of the government, because they're illegitimate people in government power. So what Cameron Sexton did, and it was in the news, but it was covered up, and he'll never get prosecuted for it. It's too powerful. He's the Speaker of the House now. He has a house in Crossville, and he's getting a per diem for driving from Crossville to Nashville. It's several thousand. I think it's about $70,000, $80,000 a year for driving. Now, this is what they allege. He's given a per diem. They allege he has a house in Crossville, and he's getting a per diem for legitimately driving from Crossville to Nashville to be Speaker of the House. So he's getting paid for his gas and time driving, a per diem. But in actuality, which was pointed out and covered up now, he lives in Nashville. His children go to school in Nashville, so he doesn't live in Crossville. He claims he lives in Crossville because that's where he gets elected. He couldn't get elected in Nashville, where he really lives, because Nashville is Democrat. He's a Republican. So he has a house in Crossville so he can get elected, because, you know, like gerrymandering, he can get elected in Crossville. So he has a house in Crossville because there's Republicans in Crossville. There's not. If you run as a Republican in Nashville, you're going to lose. It's a Democratic area. So he has a house so he can get elected and be powerful in Crossville. But he doesn't live in Crossville. But he gets a per diem like he's driving, probably almost 100 miles to Nashville. When he's not do that, because he's not driving to Nashville from Crossville. He's not do that per diem. It's about $70,000, $80,000 a year, because he lives in Nashville where his children go to school. So he's stealing tax money. That's what Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the House, is doing. But he won't get prosecuted because he's Speaker of the House, even though he's defrauding people out of tax money. But Glenn Costa used to be the Speaker of the House. So why is he being prosecuted for stealing tax money? Because he's no longer Speaker of the House. And the backstory, that's what people wonder. When you see somebody in the news that was in a powerful position or is in a powerful position, then you think, what's the backstory? Why are they getting prosecuted? Because people in power don't get prosecuted for crimes. They get out of them, just like Cameron Sexton. They commit illegal acts and get out of it. They had a Knoxville lawyer here, a real winner, say, and they asked him about that. Is he breaking the law? He's getting a per diem and losing that. And the lawyer here, that's a Republican too. You know, they back up their own, legitimize the illegitimate, decriminalize the criminal, make their crimes not really a crime, explain it away, try to. But I'm going to explain to you the truth, what's really going on. That's why you need to listen to this channel. Nobody else is brave enough to do that because they'll come after me. But so be it. That's why I'm trying to like, share, comment, subscribe, build up the viewership, but it'll make it hard for them to attack me wrongfully. There'll be public outcry. So, because I'm telling you the truth. I'm talking about a powerful person in power that's stealing your tax money. Nobody else will do that. Even journalists won't do that and put it in the broader perspective. They don't explain to you the reason why he's not been prosecuted is because he's Speaker of the House, so he can commit any damn crime he wants to. As long as he doesn't do anything against the governor and the people in power. That's what it's about. It's not about public harm. It's about keeping people in power, giving them the appearance of legitimacy. That's what a sociologist knows. It's not about committing a crime that's harmful to you, because they can harm you all they damn well please. That doesn't make it damn. The people in power don't care about that. They care about people who keep them appearing legitimate. And when they don't make them appear legitimate anymore, like Glenn Costa, then they hang them out and say, well, you're not credible. So I wonder, when you see somebody in power, or formerly in power, getting accused of crimes and convicted and tried by people in power in the government, then you wonder, what's the backstory behind that? Who's really mad at them? Who are they going against that's in power, that's attacking them? Why are the powerful people fighting them when they used to be in power? There's a backstory. They made somebody mad. Maybe they got honest about something. They're telling the truth about people. And people in power are trying to cover it up. So when you see a story about somebody in power being hung out, drug into prosecution, then wonder, maybe they're a good person. If they're being prosecuted by the government, there's a story behind it sometimes, and just think about that. For instance, like they did to me, why did they hang me out and try to prosecute me? They couldn't get it done. And another state trooper that killed somebody, 2 people in a wreck, you can find nothing on the internet about him, and nothing particular about the wreck that incriminates him, except for stuff I know behind the scenes. That's why you need to listen to me. You'll get the truth unbridled. And it's not conspiracy theories. It's the truth. Up close and personal, I've seen it happen. I know. I used to be a part of the government, a good part of the government. I did the right thing. That's why they hung me out. I wasn't into legitimizing the illegitimate. I was into providing for public safety. But that doesn't matter. So we'll see how many people we have in here. Continue this dialogue and show you side-by-side pictures and documentation. And I also have what I've been promising for days, the date of Major Heatherly's crash that put her in the hospital, put her on workman's comp, where she was hitting a head-on crash. She wasn't capable of working. She wasn't fit for duty, which is fine, not fit for duty. You don't go on duty and there's no problem. But when you're not fit for duty and you go on duty, you're not adequately protecting the public and you're violating rules. And I'll show you the date that she was cleared, and I'll show you pictures of in between there where she worked, was on duty, not fit for duty. So I couldn't find him before. I've made sure that I've got him today, and hopefully fate don't make a damn fool of me. But I got him in my back pocket, And I'm going to show you today the date she had the wreck with a picture of the crash, how horrendous it was. Well, she wouldn't be capable of working after that kind of crash, which is sad, And then the date she came back to work, which is sad too, because she's dangerous to the public safety. And she should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. She's a criminal. She's a liar. She misled the court, gave the court false information, and caused the fatality rate to skyrocket. 45% caused more Tennesseans to get killed. But she legitimizes the illegitimate. She backs up the power, and that's why she can commit any damn crime she wants to. She can lie under oath. She can steal valor. She can work while she's not capable of it. And I'll show you, there's proof of that, and still get promoted because she upholds the illegitimacy of the government. She acts like the government, people in government power are legitimate, out for your public safety and doing what they should be doing, when they're actually illegitimate. They have lied to you to get in power, and they should not be trusted and believed. And if she presented the truth, she would get gone. As long as she upholds people in power in their rogue and their corruption, she'll get promoted. So it's not about public safety. It's not a government that serves you. It's not people in power that serve you. It's people in power that endanger you. It's the Tennessee Department of Public Danger. So I'll show you that picture today. Let me see how many people are in here. And also, we're going to a specific place. When I get there, I'll tell you why I went there. And it's about what this social movement is about. Just a representation, a semblance of what we're trying to do. And we may get it done. I don't know. There ain't no guarantees in life. But we're damn sure trying. We're giving it the old college try. And been pretty damn successful so far. Got 425,000 people have listened to me in the last month. At this rate, over 1 million people or more in the next month, which is a lot of eyes looking on if the government does anything to me. And I'm depending on you, hopefully. I'm depending on God, and God gives you knowledge and tactics. And I'm depending on you people. I'm praying that God will help me, protect me, and that God will bring more people into the fold and eyes on what they do to me. If they abuse me, arrest me, beat me up again falsely, there'll be more public pressure on people that can call your representatives, because the representatives go along with what the public wants. They're wishy-washy as hell. They're dirty as hell. And if there's enough public pressure put on people, they'll do what's right if you put pressure on them to do what's right. And that's what we're trying to do. Trying to raise a ruckus. The squeaky wheel gets old, not illegally or criminally, not violent, but with voting. Voting helps. Voting matters. Social movement organizations get advantages. Social movement organizations get consensus. Social movement organizations get sometimes some concessions from the government. And we're going to get every concession that we want. We're going to fight like hell till we do. And that's what we're going down to a specific area where I'm going to show you what we're doing. So hang on so I can show you that at the end of the video. God bless y'all. Thank you all. So we'll continue this dialogue. Juxtaposition people that do good compared to what the government says, people in government power say about them, and compared to people that government power say are good or don't even say anything at all. You can't find anything about their public corruption in Google or anything, yet they have killed innocent people by being negligent. So we're going to compare those. I'm going to show you some printout pages of that. So we'll check how many people on here, read some comments. Hang with us. We're going somewhere to prove a point, to paint a picture and show you those pictures. Hang on with me. God bless y'all. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Got a great show for you today. So we'll be back on here Monday morning about 6 o'clock. We don't broadcast on Saturday. And we're going to do this every day, God willing, the creek don't rise. Thank y'all for joining me. God bless you all, I pray. Like, share, comment while you're thinking about it. And subscribe, share, and if you can, I ask you please, if you can understand, donate, contribute some, and help us get this this world-changing message out for this social movement organization that is power to you, the people. You're the government. We're gonna give power to you. One way we're doing it is broadcasting live, telling the truth about things. Social movements start with strain. Strain is societal bad that happens where the people in government power are mistreating you, and we need to do something about it before we can't. You look at your gas prices. You look at your food prices. You look at the way they're closing down roads. You look at the control that they have over us, the First Amendment that they're taking away. We need to fight these people, and we can fight them and win. A lesson I learned when I was a kid, Mom, I'll tell you about that. People think you can't beat people in government power. Yeah, you can. You can beat the hell out of them. That's what we're doing. Just because you're less powerful doesn't mean you're powerless. So we'll continue this dialogue, get down to the bridge and show you some documents to present our prosecution of people in public power like I've been trained, so you can convict them at the polls, vote them out, every damn one of them. So let's see how many people I have in here. Thank y'all for joining me. Contribute if you can, please. Thank y'all. Let's see, and we'll continue with the dialogue. Hang in here with me. I'm going to show you what we're going to appoint, where we're going just in a few minutes. And this program won't be that long, so hang in here with me. And let's see how many people we got, and we'll continue the dialogue. Thank y'all. So yeah, we got 112 people. Let's read a few comments. Same old BS. No, it ain't. It's different. It's different. Let's see. Invisible 70 civil stories. Watch your mouth. Always watch your mouth. You're going down a wild road, brother. I'm sorry life hasn't gone the way. I'm not going down a wild road. It's not really funny because probably access to firearm. And I still do. It's to protect myself from you. And I damn sure will. So, don't test me. This man doesn't look like someone that can prove anything. Okay, well, look at my screenshot of me standing beside my award for arresting more people in the state for drunk driving. Can I prove that I got awards for my efforts in protecting the public? They're so bogus, some of these comments. It says here, you don't prove you're credible. You don't prove you're credible by calling yourself old, your site, your papers. Well, yeah, that's like you can't prove anything regardless of the facts. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. You can prove a lot of stuff. If it's the truth and you show the documentation and evidence, you present your case to the jury. So I really don't have a clue. The gaslighting is awesome in here today. Thank you all for my supporters, but don't worry about the gaslighting. Let them ramble on. Gaslighting is where you tell somebody that what they know is reality isn't really reality and try to convince them that. And if you tell them that enough, then maybe they start to believe it. But I'm not believing your dirty lies. A lot of your government bots that are part of the problem. You can say whatever you want to say as many times as you want to say. It doesn't change the truth. The truth matters. It matters a lot. And I'm here to speak the truth. And just because you call it a lie, prove you're calling a lie without saying your papers don't prove papers that prove me different. You can't prove me different because I'm telling you the truth. So, gaslighting is a manipulative, psychotic technique where you try to convince someone that the reality that they know and saw is not reality. And it's not going to work with me. I'm educated out of that. I know what you're doing, and I don't give a damn what you're doing. It doesn't matter to me. I'm still telling the truth. You're not going to get me to stop. I'm going to be on here with probably 1 million people in a few days, still telling the truth, regardless how many times you post on there. So it's not going to make any difference to me. If you have proof, post it. But you don't. You're gaslighting. Very simple concept that's full of baloney. If you can prove something, which I can prove things I'm saying, I can prove it. Documentary evidence. Lies by people in power. And you can't prove that I'm not telling the truth. If you can't prove it, but you can't. You're just saying, oh, papers don't prove it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, show me some papers that prove I'm lying. Because I'm not. But thank you for bots for running, Russian bots probably what they are, for running up my views. And liars and people that want to cause trouble for no legitimate purpose. And so, you know, the truth goes on. That's part of fighting, is not bowing down to liars, and we'll keep doing that. Hello.
You all right?
Pretty good, thank you. So we won't bow down to public pressure. We will keep fighting these people, these dirtbags, these liars that back up people in power in the government, that back up people like Cameron Sexton. If I'm lying about Cameron Sexton, there's news articles about it, but he's never prosecuted. Look it up. Look at Cameron Sexton and look up about how he's getting a per diem from driving from Crossville, when he's not driving from Crossville, how he lives in Nashville, a few minutes from the courthouse, a few minutes from the House of Representatives where he works, and getting thousands of dollars. And how you haven't heard anything about him being prosecuted. Look it up. It's the truth. Why isn't he being prosecuted? Because he's in power. And I'm not talking off the top of my head making up conspiracy theories. I have an education in sociology. I have a understanding of how things matter in a broader context. And you don't. So, you know, go crawl back in the hole that you crawled out of, and bring your phone with me so you can keep running up my views, where I have a lot more viewers. So YouTube will expand the algorithm. So thank you for being crooked, because your crooked helps me. That's part of the strategy. So keep posting lies. It doesn't matter to me. So let's move on with, we're out here getting up on the Henley Street Bridge. Got my sign with me. We might run for governor, question mark. And there's a picture of me when I was at UT Police, a historic photograph in 1992. And no matter what people say, we're still here. Fraud elections. They say we lost an election because of government framing, people in government power framing me a bad person, and they frame people that are closing down roads, running the economy, don't know anything about emergency management. People look back on this and say, why did so many people get killed in Knoxville in this horrific event? Because you don't have people that are elected that know anything about emergency management. And I'm asking you all, if you ran for public office, you're still on the ballot, learn something about emergency management where you can actually help people instead of just keeping people in power legitimate that are illegitimate. Please do that. You know, I mean, for people's public safety, have a little heart, a little care about what you're supposed to be doing, instead of legitimizing a mayor that uses tax money to campaign for another rogue person that ran for office. So please try to learn emergency management. But people think I lost the election. I didn't lose the election. I got attention, which is part of where we're going today. Give you a little insight to paint a picture. In any way we can do that, we're all in. Part of the way you start a social movement, run a social movement, is lawsuits, which I filed them, credible lawsuits, and won. You run for public office. Doesn't matter if you win. The way the government frames things, you got little or no likelihood of winning. The only people that win elections, usually, for some cases, they overcome the deficit, are people that are in government power or backed up by people in government power. You can't win an election telling the truth, usually. Now, we're gonna sure give it a try, and we're doing a pretty good job of it. So I didn't lose an election. It was a fraudulent election. But I did accomplish, I've ran for office twice. I've went all over the state, shaking hands, knocking on doors, and I've got an audience. That was a second objective of the election. I knew the election would be fraudulent. I wasn't under any illusion. I was trying to win, but I wasn't under any illusion. I knew the news media and I'll show you how they do it, would paint me as a bad person, where people would be afraid to vote for me illegitimately, and I'm not a bad person. I was the best educated person on the ballot, the best for public safety, the best to protect everyone, and the best to get rid of rogue people in government power and point out how crooked they are. I was better for you than any candidate on the ballot, and bad for them. That's why I couldn't win the election, because I was bad for them. The people that won, with maybe the exception of one, are good for them. They will legitimize people in government and build up the government that are bad for you. For instance, Tommy Smith, he ran for city council. He's a city council member now. He ran on the premise, people running down people in government power, some of the bad things they did. He literally said, he ran on the premise that be careful about running down people in government power because I'm paraphrasing, because they've been working on this for years and they're doing a great job. So he ran on the premise of building up people in government power and legitimizing the illegitimate. That's what his positions were. That people in government power are honest and we need to praise them, and that they're good and they're doing a great job. He literally said that in meetings and hearings. So people in government power said, no, hey, he's upholding us. So they got behind him, and he got won more votes than most people have ever won running for city council, because he was on the side of people in government power. So wow, how does that work out? Don't work out good for you. Since he was in government power, roads are closed, the Gay Street Bridge is closed right now. He's in government power right now. The government got him elected. People in government power got him elected. And he does whatever they want him to do. But how has society benefited? How has South Knoxville and Fort Sanders area benefited? There's construction all over the place over there. It's under Tommy Smith that promoted the establishment that's crooked as hell. They're initiating new paid parking so they can get more money for their illicit activities, so that they can have campaign rallies on Market Square with the police protecting them for opponents, politically use your tax money for politics. That people that are going to go against you too. The Gay Street Bridge is closed down under Tommy Smith. Right there, the Gay Street Bridge is closed down. You can see the lights over there. Under Tommy Smith, a bridge that's been open since 1898. Tommy Smith, his administration, he's over South Knoxville. He's for the government, for people in government power, but he's against the people, and the bridge is closed down. But he got more votes, not because he's good for you, because he's good for them. Now, I'm proud of the fact that I got less votes than even a convicted felon. How does that work out? How does that work out? I get less votes than a convicted felon because they frame me as a horrible person. They tell you that I'm a convicted felon. They tell you that I'm a horrible person, which is absolutely not true. They frame it because if I got in government power, they know that I would point out, I would be right there where they're at. I would point out their lies and deceit and dishonesty and be on your side, the public side. But they have all this free press, all this free power, because they're people in government power, and they hold the news media, hold the power, hold the privileges, and they run me down falsely. And you have people like Tommy Smith that is bad for you, good for them. Got more votes than a lot more than any candidate almost had, because he's good for them, bad for you. He even said that, praising them, but he's sure not praising you. He's closing down bridges, closing down roads, paid parking all over new places, and bridges closed down. But I was good for you, bad for them. That's why I got less votes, because they framed him as a good person when he's a total babbling idiot, and framed me as a bad person because I would have pointed out their inconsistencies and how illegitimate they are, even though they present themselves to be legitimate. So hopefully you all can understand what I'm saying. But I didn't lose the election. I got views. I got 59 votes in South Knoxville and Fort Sanders. And I got my message out, which is how crooked the state government is. So we're almost to Market Square, and we'll show you the point of this whole thing and show you some documents and information that I promised you all. So we'll read some more comments. And I appreciate y'all viewing the channel. And thank you all so very much. God bless you, I pray. We're getting the message out. We're on a mission. Honest journalism. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. And every morning, Monday through Saturday, about 6 in the morning, we'll bring you a new news story, unbridled, a journalist from a sociological perspective that tells you more of a worldview, why the news is presenting things the way they're presenting and the way they really are. And you can make your own decisions about things. I'm just telling you, there's a backstory, there's a framing going on, the way they want to position things. And there's also lies going on. They lie to you. They tell you lies. And I'll show you some blatant lies. And tell you what they want you to believe to lead you in a direction that is dangerous and bad for you. And that's what the news does. They'll present a story on the news, breaking news, and present a story and tell you facts in that story, broadcast it all over the United States, all over America, that the facts didn't happen. They're not a different view on the facts. What they're telling you is not reality. It didn't happen. And people don't know, they're listening to the news. And I'll explain to you a specific incident where I know it didn't happen. Because I was there, I seen it, and the news said this happened. I said, no, it didn't. That didn't happen. And they say we can prove it happened, and I can show you how they cannot prove it didn't happen. Because how they said it happened, they're lying about it, and they do that all the time to keep people in power that shouldn't be in power, that should be in jail, and to keep their boot on your neck, to keep you down, and to lift them up. And we need to overtake that and vote them out. And there's a lot of different means that we can get noticed and get consensus from these rogue people in power and get them to act honestly and treat us fairly. So let's see how many people got in here. We'll get to Market Square, show you the point of this. Hang on with me to get the point at the end of the video. We're almost there, almost done. I'll show you a few flyers, a few papers that prove what I'm saying. And it's not typed out or manipulated. It's stuff I got right off the internet. You can look it up too. It's right off the internet. Same thing I got. Their lies are right on the internet, printed up, and I'll show you that's not what happened. Explain to you how it couldn't happen that way. So you can say I made these papers up. No, I didn't. Type in what I'm typing in, you'll come up with the same thing. On Google, you'll come up with the same lies. It's blatant in your face, telling you something's true that's not. Can't be true. It's a dirty lie. And that's what they do worldwide. If you're in Argentina, if you're in Canada, if you're in the United Kingdom, if you're in Russia, hey, they know they lie there. But they lie in the United States too. They're as crooked as a dog's hind leg. This is for you too. You can start a social movement. You can be a part of this. Power to you, the people. Worldwide, we got some big hopes, big dreams, and we're not going away. We're not going to die. And hopefully, if something happens to me, I don't foresee it. Somebody else will take the steering wheel and keep driving for your public safety, for the welfare and benefit of people in Tennessee, Knoxville, in the state of Tennessee. We might run for governor. And worldwide, we're not going to take this anymore from these rogue people that have infiltrated our government, that are protesters against us and run the government to serve themselves and run over us and keep the economy ruined, like they're running here in Knoxville, closing down roads. People are avoiding Knoxville and running the state of Tennessee, making the roads more dangerous, more likely that you get killed, making it so dangerous that they even get killed, they even get injured and wrecks themselves because they're gluttons. And they eat so much, they have so much power, and they use it so illegitimately that they're dangerous to themselves and others. So I'm just telling you the truth about things. You won't hear this anywhere else. No one's brave enough to do this. This is my calling. This is my forte. I'm a fighter. I'm drawn to fight. You can tell about your personality. by what you're always drawn to in your life. What do you always do? What do you always lean toward? When you're not compelled to do something, what are you doing? What is it that you always want to do and you always find yourself doing that's good and right? I'm not talking about doing something wrong. What do you find yourself doing? If you're a fighter, you always find yourself in a confrontation, legitimately fighting evil, and that's what you're drawn to. If you're a peacemaker, you always find yourself in the middle of a confrontation working out peace with people. That's your calling, that's your forte. What are you drawn to? What do you do? Look back over your life and say, what am I always drawn to? What am I usually doing? And I don't know why, but that's what I do. Maybe that's your calling, and I'm saying use it for a good purpose. Use it for the benefit of God and His glory. But whatever you're drawn to, use it for good. And that's your calling. That's what you're designed to do. That's who you are. That's your personality. And I'm saying do that in a good way, because God makes people with personalities and callings. And whatever you're drawn to, use that and do that in a positive way. I'm a fighter. I'm drawn to fights. To fight for good and right. That's what I do. And it's dangerous. I know it is. David was a fighter. God trained him to be a fighter. He learned how to fight. From a child, he fought a lion and a bear. God put him through fighting a lion and a bear. God's put me through some fights to teach me how to fight, to train me. I've been in a few good ones. I'm right in the middle of one now, fighting the hell out of these dirt bags and winning, I think. And there's a mentality to a fighter. I was fighting, when I was on the road, I was fighting drunk drivers. I was so good at it, I got more of them off the road than any trooper in the state for the public safety. It was a good fight, a worthy fight to protect them and other people. I led the whole state in that. I'm drawn to an issue, to confront it and do good for it. This is an issue I'm drawn to fight people that are in government power, that have infiltrated our system wrongfully, that are serving themselves, and I'm trained to do this. I have a doctor of jurisprudence. I went to their law schools. I know how they think. They think how they can keep their power illegitimately and how they can benefit themselves and stomp on you. I know how they fight. I've been to their training schools. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology. I'm well prepared for this fight, well prepared for this social movement of power to you, the people, against the people in power. And what are you drawn to? What do you do? I would encourage you to look back over your life and see what you're drawn to, what you do, and pray to God and use it for good, and get active in what your calling is. And I would encourage you to help this social movement. Remember the brand name, Charles Van Morgan. Remember power to you, the people. And get involved in the social movement to help us fight people, the protesters that have infiltrated our government power. Contribute to this cause. Help me fulfill my life's calling and fulfill your life's calling. Contribute to this financially. It costs money to do things. People that are rich get a lot of things done, some of it illegitimately. If you give us money, we will do things legitimate to protect the public, much like what I did when I was fighting drunk drivers. We'll do it better than anybody else. So people in power have read some bad data. They should have looked at the numbers, because I fight pretty damn good and pretty damn hard. The target is just different now. The target is fighting people in government power that have wrongly overtaken the government for their own benefit, and they fight to maintain their power and their corruption and what they can get to benefit them and their families above you. And now, because of their danger to the public, just like drunk drivers, I'm fighting them. And hopefully we'll be successful. There ain't no guarantees in life. If you help me, we can be successful and we can beat these people down. But we need money to do it, so please contribute. So we're headed to Market Square to prove a point. At the end of this, I'll tell you what the point is, so hang on with me. There is a huge point in this about the social movement, and we're on the way to a specific location to point out why we're going there. So hang on with me till the end, you'll find out. Got that little hook in there. I won't tell you till we're there. And then I'll tell you, and then if you want to, you can log off. But till then, hang on with me. I'm telling you where we're going. I'll tell you where we're going. We're going to Market Square. And after we get there, I'll tell you why we went there. We'll be in a specific location, exactly why we went there. So we're fighting dirty people in government power that serve themselves. Like, share, comment, hit the like button, and share this video. Watch us Monday morning at it's about 6 o'clock. Subscribe. Hey, we're getting almost 100 subscribers every day. That helps increase the channel. And if you can't give, at least subscribe and like, and helps the algorithm get our message out. And maybe we'll reach over 1 million people in the next month about power to you, the people, fighting people in dirty government power. And when we get to Market Square, we're going to find us a place, and I'm going to sit down. Somebody told me to sit down yesterday, so we're going to try to find a place to sit down. I'm going to show you this paperwork I got, these documents that present my case. And you're the judge and jury, and you're going to either prosecute or don't prosecute based on the evidence. And if you got contrary evidence, I ask you to present it. But what I'm telling you is absolutely positively the honest truth. If you can disprove it, I invite you to do that, but you can't, because it's the truth. The truth is subject to a perception, but the truth is the truth. How you look at it, your choice. But gravity doesn't change no matter how you look at it. So we're headed there. We're going to look, see how many people are on here. We may be like 5 more minutes before we get there, and then we'll sit down and go over some of this paperwork. I have promised you all that I'm going to show you the date of Major Heatherly's going on workman's comp, documentary evidence, and the documentary evidence of the date that she gets approved fit for duty. And y'all know, it's on the World Wide Web, that she's on duty when she's not, in between those times, which is not allowed according to their own order. So how does that happen? It's called people in power corruption. It's called people in power doing whatever they want to do. I've been promising that for days. We're going to show you that when we get there, so hang on with me. On our way to Market Square, let me see how many people we got in here and tell you the end game when we get there, and see how many people we got in here, and read some of the comments if they make any sense. Some of them don't. And thank y'all. God bless y'all. Let's see what we got here. Okay, man. Yeah. So we get the regular screen on here. So breathing for. Well, yeah. I'm in perfectly good shape. I'm not in any danger of passing away. So don't worry about my breathing. I'm running pretty fast. Awesome. I should put the down, but I'll wait 5 more minutes. Okay. I should put the phone down, but I'll wait 5 more minutes. Right. We got a timeline for this. Okay. Right. Briefcase. Right. Hey, Malky says, hey, if I read that right. And I'm 50 minutes and I'm still here. Thank y'all for hanging in here. So insane that he was ever even running. Oh, well. Okay, the gaslighting continues. Oh, man, you hurt my feelings. I'm going to go somewhere and hide. Don't worry, brother. I'm going to help you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for trying to help me. So we got almost 100 people in here. And we're almost to Market Square, and we'll show you the end game. I'm copying these comments so I can read them and see where y'all coming from. I like to listen to you. Why the hell is the background green? I changed it. I don't know. Shouldn't have been. The buttons get accidentally pushed. Sorry about that. As long as you can hear me, we're good. But it's a neat change to the stuff. So we got almost 100 people, 104 people in here. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. So we're copying comments and almost to Market Square, where we're going to close this thing out. Let's see how long we've been in here. We've been in here for 59, almost an hour. So we'll go a little over an hour and cover these documents that we got here to present a case. And you can look at them however you want to, but these are the truth here. And talk about some evidence about how juxtaposition things, put stuff side by side so we can see truth in black and white, and see what Google does. Can you trust Google? You type in something in Google, and it gives you a spin, doesn't it? It don't tell you the truth. Google's not an honest search engine. Google has got in there what the government wants in there, and doesn't have in there what the government don't want in there. Google lies to you. You say, I'll read the information, I was presented with this information, this is what I believe. You're presented with lies from Google, blatant lies, and I'll show you. And you're not presented with the other side of the story that happened that's brutally horrible for you. And you're not presented with that. That's covered up. So you don't get any truthful information from Google. You get lies. And read what they're telling you when you type stuff in Google and think, why do they want to present this frame for me? Because the frame they're presenting is not true. So don't think of whether this is true or not. Automatically assume that it's not true. It's a dirty lie. 90% of it's a dirty lie. What you type in Google when you ask the question, 90% of it's a dirty lie. So the question you should ask yourself is not whether it's true or false. The question you should ask yourself is, why are they trying to present this to me in this way? What's behind this? That they want me to see the world in this way. Because it's not the way it is. I guarantee you, there's a lot of information out there that people can tell you from life experience, that's seen it up close and personal, that's the truth, that's not in there. They won't put that. But the way you can come to the truth is you can ask people that are actually there to their face is one way to get the truth. People that are there, they'll tell you what actually happened. And then you can look at the story that they present in the paper, and it's not the same thing. There's facts that can't even be facts. That if you go through what they're telling you and look at the evidence, it'll prove it lies in itself. That's not true. How dare they do that to people? It's the dirtiest bunch of crap that I ever heard. And somebody like me that can tell you, hey, I was there. I know this is what happened. I know this is the truth. And they're dirty liars, and I'll show you evidence to prove that. So yeah, and that's the name of that game. That's what we're going to do when we get down here to Market Square. We're almost here. About 2 or 3 more minutes. We're going to stand in a particular place and tell you why we're there, which facilitates the social movement. Just a picture, a framing, a picture of what we're trying to do. And we're almost there. We've traveled all this way to show you a point, to show you the end game of all we're trying to do. And this might help facilitate that. Might not, I don't know. But this is what we're trying to do. A squeaky wheel gets old. So it's Saturday morning. There's a football game today, but Tennessee's not playing at home. And then we're going to show you the paperwork documentation that we got off Google. That's a dirty lie, not hard to figure out. So read between the lines and look at things in the proper perspective, that what you get on Google is a dirty lie. And read what they're saying and look at the evidence. And you don't have to be a damn genius to figure it out. It's absolutely, positively a false, dirty lie. So we're almost there, and almost to the position that we want to get in. And I'll explain to you why we're there and what we're doing. And then we'll go over here and sit down and show you some of the paperwork that's a dirty lie on Google. It's obvious as hell, and why you shouldn't believe what Google tells, because it's state-run Google, state-run media, and it's a dirty lie, just like Russia. They talk about how bad Russia is. What about the United States of America? And thankfully, freedom of speech is a little bit allowed here, and I'm out here telling you the truth about things. But right here, see this camera right here? Let me show you. This is why we're here. Watch this right here. Came all the way down here to show you this right here. There's a camera that is Where's it at? Let's see here. Can't even find it. There's that. And there it is. There's the camera. That is Channel 10 News, and the news stations pick up that camera right there. So here's the reason why we're down here. Here's the reason why we're down here. I went all this way to show you. Here's the reason why we're down here. We're down here because we're trying to get public attention, to bring attention to the social movement of power to you, the people. Channel 10 broadcasts this and other news channels. And Channel 10's been decent with me here lately, so I appreciate them. You know, I give them credit where credit's due. When they switch, then we'll when they start being dirty to us again, we'll start telling you the truth about them. But they had me on their show and let me speak. And the newspaper, Knoxville News, has recently, they've got a good reporter in politics that's printing the truth. So we appreciate Knox News, and the young lady that's reporting Knox News, thank you. She's doing a fantastic job printing the fair stories about everybody in Knox News. So I'm not all negative. I'm just telling a truth teller. Knox News and Channel 10 have done me good. Now WVLT, Channel 8 News is a dirty bunch of liars that kicked me off their property for asking a question. They ask you a question. You know, when they think they have a got you moment, they come and ask you, they got you in something, they ask you a question in front of your face, want to see your reaction, because they know they got you in something. Even if they don't, they act like they do. But I got them in something, in a lie. They printed a false story about me, a false narrative when I was running for office. And I went to ask them about that. You know, they asked me, I'll ask them. But they told me to get off their property. So they want to interview you and ask questions, but they want to answer questions. So maybe WVLT's on right there. There's the news channel. So we came all the way down here to show you the point of this social movement. One of the main points is to get public attention, news attention, and we're right here in front of their news camera. They show this space all the time on the news, the weather and stuff, and we're trying to get public attention to put public pressure on rogue people in government office to resign and turn themselves into jail or get the hell out of Dodge. It's our government. You don't belong. And here's my sign we got here. Maybe they see this sign, fraud elections. We're still here. And Tennessee government crimes caused hundreds to get killed. That's been all across the state of Tennessee for several years. And about how justice is not buying, it pays them to find you guilty when you're not. Section 18.2 Bill of Cost on county ordinances, violation of county judges' retirement. They get $6 for every head that they find guilty. And somebody said, judges don't get paid for finding you guilty. Yeah, they do. Look at the county ordinance. I told you, look at Knox County. Section 18.2 Bill of Cost. It's right in there. Yeah, they do. So you're lying. That's the evidence. So this is why we came down here, to show you that picture, show you that camera. We're here to get public attention to, and the squeaky wheel gets oiled. So be loud. Don't commit crimes, and don't get yourself in civil trouble, but the squeaky wheel gets oiled. We're gonna be squeaky as hell, noisy as hell, and cause a ruckus and protect the public. And that's what we're about. That's what I've done all my life. So they're having the farmers market down here. These people are making a living. God bless them, I pray. So we're going to sit down here, and we're going to show you the evidence of Google, how they lie to you. So type stuff in Google and believe every damn word they say. It's so blatantly obvious how big of liars they are, how fake and false they are. So we're sitting here on Market Square. We'll go over here by a light and have a seat and present a little unbridled truth to you, and talk about Google. So hang on. We're gonna do a little fact finding about Google, and then we'll get off here. Got this little sign behind us, and we'll sit down here. People tell me to sit down, so we're sitting down. We're gonna pull out some of these papers here and show you about what Google does, how they lie. Now, this is paperwork I got here. So I told you we're going to show you the fatal crash, not fatal crash, Fortunately, she survived. The crash involving Stacey Heather, I've been promising you this for days. She was involved in the collision on April the 3rd, 2024. See the car that she was involved in, the state vehicle that she was involved in the crash. And so she crashed April the 3rd, 2024, involved in a major crash. You see the front of the car all smashed up. So she was on duty in a uniform. So she's sent to the hospital, and she's not fit for duty in that, because that's when it happened, April the 3rd, 2024. That's when it happened. So after that crash, not anything bad against her. She had a wreck. Somebody hit her head on that she could have avoided. She's trained. She should have avoided the wreck, defensive driving. And I know that's not popular to say that, but that's the truth. Troopers are trained defensive driving. You're supposed to be watching out. And she wasn't at fault, but she was at fault in that she wasn't defensive driving. Now, that's not what they want to portray in the media. They want you to be sorry for her. I wouldn't feel sorry for her. She gets hundreds of thousands of dollars of your tax money. And I'll tell you what she's doing. I wouldn't feel sorry for her. And she also created the incident where a drunk driver would hit her by taking me off the road. And if you look at my thumbnail, you'll see I led the state in drunk driving arrests. But she took me off the road, which increases drunk drivers, and she got hit by one. So she created the environment, and she's a trooper. She's supposed to create an environment for public safety. She created an environment where it was more likely that she would get hit by a drunk driver. That's the truth. You want to hear that on Google. You want to hear the news media saying that. You'll hear them feel sorry for her. They printed a picture painting her to be some kind of superhero when she created an environment that literally injured herself. That's the truth. That's what you won't hear anywhere else. I know her. I used to work for her. She's a dirty liar. She's violent. She even has a history of violence. She had a complaint that somebody alleged that they were violent with her. Of course, the Highway Patrol cleared her of that violence, but she is actually a violent person. It's on her personnel file. She's accused of being violent on the job. So she got hit by a drunk driver that she created an environment. She's a trooper, supposed to lower the fatality rate where a drunk driver would hit her, but people feel sorry for her. That's the wreck. That's the truth, unbridled truth. Now, the date that she came back to work, now from that date on, she is not fit for duty. She's not supposed to work because she's injured. I don't know if she had broken bones, but she's not capable of running, jumping, shooting, protecting you. There's something wrong with her. She's in a bad wreck. So she cannot work while she's not fit to work. And I'll show you the date that she came back to work. Now, let me see if I can find this real quick. Okay, here's the date that she came back to work. So she's from April the 3rd, 2024, off work, not fit for duty, under doctor's care. And she came back to work on February the 26th, 2025. Wednesday was, let's see here, let me show you here. Wednesday was a full day back on the job after being cleared for full duty in April. A driver hit Captain Stacey Heatherly head on while she was responding to tornado damage in Morgan County. So Wednesday was after being medically cleared. So between those periods of time, she's not cleared to work. So why was she working when she wasn't medically cleared? She responded to a shooting incident January the 7th. She responded to a shooting incident, and she wasn't cleared to work. So that she wasn't supposed to be working. She posted a video on the World Wide Web excuse me, can I help you with something? She posted a video in February the 7th. She wasn't cleared to come back to work till the 26th. She posted a video on February the 7th. You can type her name in. It's on the World Wide Web. February the 7th of 2025, several days before she was cleared to work. in a uniform. She's not supposed to be in a uniform. Supervising, talking about supervisor duties, in a patrol car, not supposed to be in a patrol car. Between those dates, so how does she do that? Because people in power get to do whatever the hell they want to do, even though they're not supposed to, even though they're not fit for duty. That is the reason why you have to have the National Guard come in and protect Memphis, because of the fact that there's state troopers on duty that are drunk on the job, that won't lose their job. That's a documented fact, that are under the influence of alcohol. And there's troopers that are on duty, they're not even hiding it, broadcasting live when they're on workers' comp, not supposed to be driving a patrol car, not supposed to be in uniform, that are posting videos online, blatantly in your face, violating workers' comp rules, supervising when they're not fit for duty. That's the reason why you have to have the National Guard protect people in Memphis, because people in Tennessee, a lot of troopers aren't fit for duty. So that's the story that people don't want to hear. So let's talk about because people in power are coddled and taken care of, even though they violate rules. So let's talk about my particular circumstance where you type my name in Google. This is why I can't win an election right now, but I will be able to. You type my name in Google and Trooper Charles Van Morgan, and what will come up is immediately my picture, which is very disturbing because Colonel Tracy Trott put my picture all over the internet, endangered my family. And what will immediately come up in Google is false information about me. It's a lie, it's dirty, it's true, it's false. They can't even prove it, and if you think about it, I can show you. It talks about the crash here when you type my name in. It has this right here. Type my name in Google. Charles Van Morgan is a former Tennessee Highway Patrol THP trooper who was fired in 2012 for neglecting his duty during a fatal crash. His video showed that during a pursuit, he drove past the crashed vehicle without stopping to render aid. On November 26th, Kyle Anito shows his name. On November 26th, it was in pursuit of 20-year-old Kyle Anito, whom he clocked speeding in Knox County. After losing sight of Antonio's vehicle over here, Morgan's in-car video showed him slowing down as he drove past the crash site where Anito's car was on fire. So it says Anito's car was on fire. There's an eyewitness on the scene that says the car was on fire. It wasn't burning before that. Eyewitness on the scene. The news says it was on fire. There's an eyewitness on the scene that says it wasn't on fire. So that's a lie. That's a lie. It was on fire. So that's not true. Shows my picture. So this is state-sponsored defamation, and that's not true. I mean, there's a witness on the scene that was actually there that looked out her window, didn't see any fire, so it wasn't on fire. And then this is what it, and I'm going to compare this to another trooper, and this is one person that killed herself in a drunk driving wreck. They did it to themselves. I didn't do anything wrong. I was trying to save his life. But this is how they present it. This is how they frame it falsely. And this is what Google's telling us. It's absolutely not true. And it's easy to disprove. So just read what they're saying and say, does that make any sense? So the crash it says after losing sight of Antonio's vehicle over a hill, Morgan's in-car video showed him slowing down as he drove past the crash site where Anito's car was on fire after hitting a tree. It wasn't on fire. It caught fire after I passed it and after a few minutes, according to an eyewitness on the scene that they cover up. So that's a lie, according to eyewitness testimony. And it says Morgan initially, in car video, showed him slowing down as he drove past the crash site where Anito's car was on fire after hitting a tree. It says Morgan initially claimed he did not see the wreck. And I didn't. I seen the car, but I didn't know it was wrecked. Morgan initially, after losing sight of Antonio's vehicle over a hill, Morgan's in-car video showed him slowing down as he drove past the crash site where Antonio's car was on fire after hitting a tree. That's not true. Failed to stop. Morgan initially claimed he had not seen the wreck. However, the dashboard camera contradicted his statement, showing he slowed down and looked directly at the crash before continuing to drive away. He later told investigators he thought the car was just parked or on the side of the road. So this says that the dash cam shows I directly looked at the car. That's what it says in the news in Google. Now the dash cam is on the front of the car. The dash cam doesn't show anything I do. I did not directly look at the car. That's false. That's easily proved. Look at the video camera. It says, and this Google says, I mean, this is what it says. It says that that's a lie. It says that the dash cam video shows that I directly looked at the car. That's what it says. That's Google. That's what it says in my name under Google. Now, that's a lie. The dash cam doesn't show that. The dash cam is on the front of the car, doesn't show anything I do. So the dash cam, they're lying to you. That's a dirty lie. And I know that I didn't directly look at the car. I saw the car out of the corner of my eye. I didn't turn and look at it. And I dismissed it as a parked car because I just seen the tail end. That's what it looked like. That's what anybody would see. That's not negligent. That is, he wrecked his car in such a manner that I couldn't see it. If he wanted me to see it, he should have wrecked. I mean, it wasn't in the road overturned. They're acting like the car was overturned and the road blazing on fire. And I said, hell, I got to get out here, and drove around the car and took off. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. And they're saying that I directly looked at the car, that the video camera shows that. That's a lie. The video camera doesn't show that. That's not what happened. I didn't directly look at the car. I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and it appeared like a parked car. So that's a lie. That's a lie that they're telling you to incriminate me and put my life in danger, saying that I knew somebody needed help. And that's easy to pick that out. I mean, a lie is a lie, and there's stuff that ain't covered. I didn't directly look at that car, and there's no way, they say the video camera showed that. There's no way that they can prove that, because look at the video camera doesn't show that. So that's a blatant lie by Google. That's in Google. Now you look at this right here. You look at this right here. You type my name in Google, and that's the trash. That's a lie that comes up. Framing by Stacey Heatherly. That's a lie that's intended to discredit, illegitimize somebody that lowered the fatality rate. Look at my DUI picture. They lowered the fatality rate and even got her hurt. So that's a lie. There's more lies through there. There's hundreds of lies in their story that they're telling. That's on Google. If you put that in there and people say, oh, he did this, he did this. No, that's not true. Just look at the little stuff and look at the video. You can uncover stuff easily. And, you know, if you don't believe me, look at the video, see if it shows. It says the video camera shows that I looked at the car. The dash camera shows it. It doesn't show that. That's a lie. Easy to prove. So why would they say that? Because they want to say that I looked at the car, but I didn't. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. But you type in another trooper's name. Now, that wreck was a single person that got killed in a wreck that killed himself. Troopers all over the state know I didn't do anything wrong. Supervisors know I didn't do anything wrong. Major Stacey Heatherly framed it that way. She framed it that way. She had vendetta against me, proving a lie, and that's in Google because she's in power. You look at another trooper that did something wrong. I didn't even do anything wrong. I followed the pursuit policy. They even admit that. I had on my blue lights and siren. You look at another trooper that was involved in a pursuit illegally without turning on his emergency equipment that got a 16-year-old killed. 2 people killed in a pursuit that Trooper John Pettigo was in. 2 people. A 16-year-old killed. Trooper John Pettigo was in pursuit without turning his blue lights on. Did not obey the law. Should be in jail. You type his name in Google. I'm telling you what happened. I know what happened. I listened to the news reports and pieced together just like I am in this. You type his name in Google. This was after the incident that happened with me was in November of 2011. The incident that happened with him is even newer than mine. It's closer to now. The incident, he was involved in a pursuit, didn't turn on his emergency equipment. No video of what he did that they put out in the news media because they wanted to defame me. And even the video they put out doesn't defame me. They lie about what the video shows. So that's like saying the Georgia referee clearly seen the ball across the line and he didn't call a touchdown. No, they didn't. They didn't see it. They didn't see it till they reviewed it. You can't see the car crash there. I didn't see it. But you type in John Pettigo's name. I'm just telling you about Google how they rig stuff. Okay. You type in John Pettigo. He was involved in a crash involving 2 people in a pursuit without acting legally. Didn't turn his emergency equipment on. 2 people dead. An innocent 16-year-old. The crash I was involved in was only 1 person killed that killed themselves, and I did nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. I know I was there, even according to eyewitnesses that refute what's on Google. The eyewitnesses that were there. Google wasn't there. Google's telling you what Stacey Heatherly says. The liar Stacey Heatherly that lies about serving in the military, that is on duty illegitimately, not fit for duty, that lies about what I did and destroyed my reputation for now. You type in John Pettigo's name, he's involved in a 16-year-old killed because he didn't follow the law, didn't follow the rules. An innocent person killed. Now that's serious. That's serious. A person that wasn't drunk, wasn't doing anything wrong, was killed because John Pettigo didn't turn on his emergency equipment and warn people around that there was a problem. A 16-year-old got killed. So you type in his information. What do you come up with? You come up with a Lifesaver Award. You don't find anything when you type in Trooper John Pettigo's name in Google, except for that he saved somebody's life. You type in my name, they show you my picture, and lie. Type in John Pettigo's name, and it says that he's a great person because he got a Lifesaver Award. He shouldn't get a Lifesaver Award. Somebody was killed as a result of his a pursuit that he was in, that he didn't follow the law. So believe Google. Believe them all you want to. John Pettigo caused a 16-year-old to get killed. Here's a lady that she got killed right here. That's John Pettigo is responsible for her death. And here's the framing that they do. That lady was killed, a young lady. Her name is Amelia. She was killed because John Pettigo was in a pursuit of her, in a pursuit of a car that hit her head on. And John Pettigo didn't have on his emergency equipment. And she wasn't warned that somebody was coming her way, not abiding by the law, because John Pettigo didn't warn her. She was killed. But if you type in Google, you won't find that in Google because they paint him as a hero and paint me as somebody that did something wrong. So here's what they did in that case. They passed a law that made it harder for people to stay out of jail, and passed a rogue law. They framed it all on the person that was running, and it was their fault, but it's also John Pettigo's fault. Should have had on his emergency equipment. Governor Haslam paints John Pettigo a great person. Governor Haslam signed the bill into law on June 3rd, 2014 with effective date of July 1st. Implementation, following its passage, some local courts system reported initial difficulties implementing the law due to lack of available transcendental monitoring devices. Tennessee House approved Amelia's law. So they passed a law wrongly. They should have put John Pettigo in jail and Google. And the reason why they did that is people think they assassinated Charlie Kirk. He's a martyr because he was a Christian, And I'm just saying, when I was a trooper, and I told you I'd show you this yesterday. When I was a trooper, here's a picture of me as a trooper right there. There's my badge, my state trooper, and look in my pocket there. And people knew this. I didn't get it out and read it to people. But you see a bulge in my pocket there. You know what was in my pocket? And people knew this that were on the highway patrol. I had a bulge in my pocket because I had a New Testament there. A New Testament. I told you I would do that yesterday. That's the little bulge in my pocket. A New Testament over my heart in my pocket because I was a Christian. Stacey Heatherly knew I was a Christian. She assassinated me politically, assassinated my character, just like you would Charlie Kirk in a different way. She's an assassin. She's a sniper from a distance. Colonel Tracy Trotz to the bathroom did that. They assassinated me. Not because I preached the gospel on the job, because they knew I was a Christian. A Christian would lower the fatality rate. I was, because they're evil people. And they knew I was a Christian. They knew what was in my pocket, a Bible. They don't like the Bible. They don't like Christianity. And just like Charlie Kirk, in a different way, they assassinated me using government power illegitimately to ruin my reputation and build up the reputation of somebody that killed a 16-year-old. So my name in Google comes up that I saw somebody burning to death in a wreck they caused themselves, which I did not. I seen the tail end of a car, didn't know there's a wreck. And a trooper that killed two people, that killed an innocent person, was in pursuit of another person that didn't have blue lights on. Two people were killed in that incident. It comes up he's a lifesaver and has nothing about the pursuit he was in, and he should be in jail. And Colonel Tracy Trott says that he came down to the scene and drove the scene in my pursuit because of the magnitude of the incident. One drunk driver killed themselves. That's not a magnitude incident. That happens all the time. What about the trooper that was in pursuit of somebody? The magnitude of that incident that killed a 16-year-old. He didn't come down to the scene then because he wasn't going to assassinate Trooper John Pettigo, even though he should have been in jail. So you believe Google all you want to, and I don't think my fans do. We'll be back on here Monday morning at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed talking to y'all. We'll bring some more great news for you, uncover some stories, do some research over the weekend, and bring you back a great story on Monday morning. Like, share, comment, and please contribute if you can. Help fund this truthful, sociological news channel that you won't get from anywhere else. You won't hear anybody else telling this. You won't hear anybody else that's got the nerve to do this, and the backbone and the calling from God to do news, independent sociological journalism. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. And last thing I say is we'll say that in just a minute, but don't underestimate what God can do. Remember, the social media, the social movement, power to you the people, stood in front of the camera trying to get public attention, trying to put pressure on people in government. And also pray to God, don't underestimate what God can do. Till Monday at about 6 a.m. Last thing I always say, we'll take some pictures of the comments, is God loves you and I do too. Thank you all very much for listening.